Hey team, so today, as promised, I wanted to share a little bit of the behind the scenes of the Black Friday week, which was really successful. I was in tears when I went for a jog this weekend simply by having a 20K week. I think it was sensational. I sort of shared on my Instagram a little bit of the musings behind it. If you want to check it out, you can. It's on most_mojo. And everything is in there. So there's me after the run, sending my gratitude to all the modern makers and friends that partook. So essentially my thought for Black Friday this time was, instead of going down the discounts route, everybody was offering 50% discounts, 70% discounts, all of that fun stuff, and discrediting their craft or the value that they bring. So I sort of said, when people zig, why don't we zag and go down the other end? So the thing that I thought, obviously I'm a marketer and a writer and I help other people make money online, was why don't I run a campaign before Black Friday and give people some assets that already exist on my drive, and instead of discount everything, I would actually raise the price on Black Friday and Cyber Monday and take it that way. So essentially what I did was I looked into my drive and I had 3 of the core assets that got me this far and converted about 800K this year. For me, which, I'm a business consultant. I primarily sell through email. I've built an audience of 44 or so thousand on LinkedIn and about 50,000 followers across all platforms. My list is about 4,000 people. So basically what I did was I thought to myself, what do you do on a daily basis? Number one, you've got Google Doc offers to sell low and mid and high ticket stuff. So that is me getting off of sales calls and showing people how to package those. Then number two, I have this thing called an email snack cartel, where basically I offer leads on my list that I've brought from social media, bite-sized snacks to turn a lead to a customer. And then those snacks get bigger as we go into higher ticket to convert a customer to a client. Because I believe that talking to customers is much better because they've actually bought something of yours, they've shown intent, and that way it's much easier to talk to somebody who's actually bought something, right? So that email snack cartel was the entire system behind how I create offers and email and how I package them and do all of that good stuff. And then the third component was sort of the conversion scripts. So when somebody replies, whether it's low or high ticket, how do I handle them? And those I know were simple scripts, but it's actually behind the scenes giving someone an Excel spreadsheet of how to handle a lead without a sales call, which fundamentally were things that I do anyway. That existed on my drive because I've taught modern makers how to do that inside the program. So I had a friend come down from the UK and I was going to be gone. So I grabbed those assets. I scheduled the emails with all I did was spend 2-3 minutes for the price increases as promised, and then sort of did the thing. So just to put it into perspective, this is what the cart looked like. I found a random image on Unsplash and I sort of said, here's a 1-minute video of me explaining the thing that's inside, the snack cartel, the templates and the bundle of docs. Broke it down, conventional, here's what's inside, this is the outcome, and then, explained why these work. Sort of added a few bonuses and things along the way, and then the price increases. So nothing too fancy. I just use Kit to spin this one up. And it was fun, and that was that, right? So then what I did was I prepared a series of emails which basically were a mixture of results, a mixture of like pain, agitate, solution, and then added true scarcity and urgency to showcase the promises that I made, right? So I said the price was going to go up on this day, and I stuck to my promise, but it was essentially, you know, breaking down some of the emails. Like, this was a client, so my philosophy is the email snack cartel supplements the selling of Google Docs without sales calls. And here's Nigel, who's had an 18K month, got 30 clients, no sales calls, breaking down exactly what I did, and then a link to the page just as an example. I won't show you all of them, but you know, here's another one where I'm talking about myself, where I used to work at the agency for many hours on end per day, and weekends, and sort of shared a little bit of my story behind the scenes, and then said, here's what changed it, you can buy the bundle, etc. And then, I mean, here's another one that maybe is, you know, in context, so you can actually see it. So, unsexify your money-making skills. All the false promises we get online, where people essentially think they make as much money as Jake Paul and Mike Tyson did in the 15 minutes they had in the octagon. Being a little bit honest, you know, showing a result of what some of my clients did using the same thing. So it's the same thing, I'm just showing it to you in a Gmail context, but essentially that was a checkout page. It was a series of roughly 9 emails. I think I spun the other 2 on the fly that achieved this result. But where I'm getting to with this is that you know, when people zig, we want to zag, because instead of following convention and doing what everybody else did in the game, I chose to go the opposite way, you know, because we were told, go to a 9-to-5, do all of that, run sales calls and that isn't a business that's aligned with my ethos and the way I want to run things. So it was really heartfelt to see that a small list like that and all the hard work over the years paid off over time. But it doesn't have to be complex. It can be as simple as you let it be, right? So I always tell myself, how does my business feel? How does life feel? And how willing am I to let that come through? It's been an absolute blast. Hopefully you learned something behind the scenes, and maybe consider it for other holidays. I mean, this Black Friday thing is something you can do seasonally, right? Like, there's Christmas, there's New Year's, there's Easter, there's Thanksgiving. There's all sorts of events that you can do. And most of all, like, one of the tips that I always keep in mind when I'm writing is, over time, you get bangers, right? Like those bangers where people resonate, where people buy and respond. And what you can do is have something like a seasonal type of sequence where you bring back those events. Like, in my audience, it always resonates when I talk about having run the agency and being a little bit burnt out and unhappy, or when I bought my mum a flat last year because it got taken away by unpaid debt, or, you know, when we went to the dog shelter, or, you know, just bought lots of food for the doggies, or last Christmas when I sort of, you know, fed 200 people that were in need. These sort of events on the life side show people who you are, and people buy you before buying what you do. I think I'm a big advocate of that sort of nature, because, you know, at the end of the day, you don't just want to be another client getting account, you know, just another sort of Hormozy looking person where in my field, it's like, I can't get leads, I can't sign clients, I can't do this, here's a flex, here's that. Showing that essence of you is what makes this magical. And it doesn't just have to be Black Friday, it can be in general with anything you do, because as you jump sophistication levels, when people are warm and they know what they want, the differentiating factor will be who you are in the services that you offer. So I hope that was useful to you today, and I'll see you in the next one. Power to you.